Good afternoon, everyone. This is Gavaskar Reed from the New York City Department of Education. I want to welcome you all and thank you all for being a part of our Automotive and Transportation Commission. This commission has existed for a number of years now, and we originally started out with just a handful of individuals, and we have just exploded over the years. And don't let the attendee number in this meeting mislead you, because even outside of this meeting, we have an extensive array of industry partners from city agencies, the private sector, the union sector, and everything in between. And I'm extremely appreciative of all the work that you all do. My job would not be possible without any of you. So just thank you so much for the commitment that you all have in supporting the education system and providing tons and tons of opportunities and resources for our educators and most importantly, our young people within the 5 boroughs of this city. Our commission is co-chaired by 2 of my heroes, Keith Kerman, who is the Chief Fleet Officer at Department of Citywide Administrative Services, otherwise known as DCAS. And we have also my other hero, Daniel Cardoza, the Chief Maintenance Officer from MTA New York City Transit, Department of Buses. These are 2 giant figures in the industry that have done so much to be ambassadors of the work that we do here within New York City. So welcome everybody. If you have any questions, comments, concerns throughout the meeting, please feel free to use the chat box. I always keep the chat box open in case you want to network or communicate with anybody who's on the agenda or anybody else that's within attendance within this meeting. We have a very, very nice agenda for you today. Are you all able to see my screen at the moment? I have a lot of windows open. Can you see my screen? Yes,
Yeah.
no, Keith, Danny, you can? Okay,
Yeah.
so
Yes,
great, thank you. So for the agenda today, just very quickly before I turn it over to our co-chairs, we're gonna hear, of course, from Keith and Danny. We're gonna be featuring Earl Mitchell from Ford Motor Company. Very glad to have him today. We have Kenneth Gornier from the Feds. We have Peyton Sutton from Amtrak, Jose Argueta from Seafarers International Union, and finally, Jeffrey Brault from Hornblower and New York City Ferry. And I'm gonna ask my co-host, if you see anybody in the waiting room and they're entering in, if the window pops up that they're trying to get in, just let them in for me. One of my assistants that was supposed to be facilitating some of this stuff, she is unavailable. So just try to help out a little bit and try to let those individuals in the Zoom meeting if you can. And if you have other folks that are trying to get into the meeting, they don't have the Zoom link, I'm gonna ask you to just please forward the calendar invitation or forward the email to them that has the Zoom link, because I have lots of windows open and lots of phone calls, lots of texts, and it's not possible for me to respond to everybody during this time. So please, your assistance would be greatly appreciated in that regard. So this is our Automotive and Transportation Commission, where we welcome just about anybody that works within automotive maintenance and repair, aviation, logistics, the maritime trades, transit, anything related to transportation. And we have these meetings throughout the school year because we want to continue to build, cultivate, and solidify the partnerships and the relationships that we have with professionals that work within these arenas. We would not have our work-based learning opportunities, our extracurricular opportunities, our entry-level employment opportunities if it were not for the selfless work that many of you contribute towards our education system. So I really mean this every time I host these meetings, that I'm greatly, greatly appreciative of the work that you do. You could be busy doing something else. You could be at another meeting right now. You chose to be right here. So thank you for this community that you've all built. And without further ado, I'm going to turn it over to our co-chair, Keith Kerman. Go for it, Keith.
Okay, thank you very much, Gav and Daniel, and good to see all of you. Gav, I can tell you that at least one of my own staff was having difficulty with the Zoom, so I just sent that over. And so maybe that is happening a little bit more. I'm going to quickly share my screen. Can you all see my screen?
Yes, sir.
All right, great. So good to be with you again. We remain, incredibly supportive of what CTE is doing and what all of you are doing at the automotive schools to kind of train our future mechanics. As you know, we are always trying to be supportive wherever we can, and to push the sustainable side of things. So to help with the transition to, more fuel efficient, zero emission vehicles. I know the administration is also very supportive of this, and always we're always being asked, how can we do more on green education, on job development? And so I want to just give a quick update. It seems like a lot of items, but it'll go very fast on what we're doing. One, of course, is just fleet electrification remains our big priority. We announced to begin the year 1,000 additional vehicles that we were purchasing, and made that announcement with the mayor, as well as we're going to be in the next 2 years adding 1,000 chargers. So going from 4,000 to 5,000 vehicles that are EV, and 1,400 to 2,400 chargers just in, really by next year. You may be seeing some of these out in the road. So we're very excited that the PD, the marked Mach-E's, the Mustangs, are out there now and getting a lot of attention. We've had kind of the unmarked Mach-E's, which you can see on the right-hand side, out operating for 6-7 months. But the marked units at police, at parks, correction, soon a lot of other agencies are out there. And so that's, the biggest fleet we operate, really close to 10,000 units when you think about not just police, but sheriff and emergency and sanitation and DP and parks, is law enforcement. So really big for us to make this move initial. There's lots of work to do, but the biggest fleet we have is police cars, and we're kind of finally getting some all electrics out there. Of course, also pickups and vans. 25% of the city fleet is pickups and vans. So even 3 years ago, I would have told you there was no viable, cost-effective options. Now we have them. We're buying our first 400 e-transits. So actually we have about 300 e-transits now that are in our possession, most on the road. So that's really out there. The e-Lightning, we have one, and we're not going to get too many more until Ford kind of gets its plant back up, but we are buying 150, and hopefully a little later in the year. We did publish, and I do, recommend if you have some time, take a look at it. We did publish what we call a clean fleet transition plan, a report on our full electrification effort across all 190 types of vehicles on and off road. We did this in partnership with the United States Department of Transportation Volpe Center, who we've had a long partnership with, and we've published a lot of material with. So take a look at that, and we tried to provide kind of a roadmap for fleets and others on this path of electrification. So getting more specifically, one thing we're very excited about is we're starting to donate our first all-electric vehicles to you all for use in the shops. So between BCC and 3 schools, we have donated 8 all-electric Leafs. We potentially have some more. So if you want to incorporate Leafs into your shop work, not for on the road driving kind of stuff, but for shop work, or if you have driver's ed, either program, reach out to us, and we will try and support that and get that going. Oh, sorry, I just messed up my sharing here. And we can try and support that. So we've done 8, and we are available to do more. As some of you may be participating in, we also have a program of electric vehicle training and education for our city mechanics, for the 1,300 mechanics that we have now. And we are opening that up to all of you and to teachers. And I know we've had a number of teachers who have asked to be participants. I think at least a couple may have participated in the classes this month. But if there is EV safety and diagnostic and operation training that you would like to participate in, or even maybe your students as well, if we can make that happen with schedules, I know that's going to be a lot harder, that's available. And we have this whole training set. Gav can distribute our deck. Anything we're offering in training, from ASE certifications to our EV online, there's biodiesel training. We have our own defensive driver training, which is that course where you get the insurance benefits. And any of that we can make available to you, we are interested in doing that. So please reach out to us. And Javier Nieves Negron, who is trying to get into this call, is now going to be coordinating our efforts with CTE and with all of you. So you can reach out to him and participate. I did want to mention that the mayor made an announcement with the fire commissioner and all of us on e-bike safety. And you know, the e-bike thing has been very serious problem with these kind of batteries that are not up to snuff and not up to code, and with improper charging and dangerous charging. So, you know, we're going to be looking into how we can add e-bike safety both into our educational program as well as support e-bikers. And I want to mention that if there's a way to incorporate that as we go along in this sustainable journey into the educational program from the schools. I think e-bikes are becoming as big a representative of electrification and transportation as electric vehicles. But we're feeling pretty good about the safety of electric vehicles, but there's clear work to be done on the safety side over there. I do want to mention on the hiring program, you know, obviously we want to create a pathway from the schools right into hires. We did have an exam open in February, so we hope students participated in that, or recent graduates participated in that. We do have an exam that is now established for the automotive service worker with 105 eligibles that's in place. And we have a lot going on in career fairs and promotion. So my staff were just at the Al Smith Career Fair on March 24th on this week, and helping to promote, you know, fleet and careers on jobs. DCAS is doing a lot on job fairs, and you know, there's a whole effort to try and help New York City government and all its agencies hire up. We have over 20,000 vacancies, and getting employees in place is a big challenge for all of us. And Daniel and I were just talking about it, but I suspect it's true in the schools and for the teachers and across the board. So we're out there, DCAS, with a lot on recruitment fairs. The mayor's participated in at least one of them, and we're going to keep doing those. So if you go to the website link, if there's more we can do to do career fairs with the schools, let us know. More like the Al Smith, happy to do that. I do want to share a really nice success story. So we try and do the automotive internship. Well, we do the automotive internships every summer. We try and have events to celebrate them and lunches and stuff. So way back in 2016, over at police, we had this lunch and awards celebration for the automotive interns. And right behind me was a guy named Ishtiaq Hussein when he was 16. He is now behind me even more because we just hired him. And he's now our full-time person working in our fleet office of real-time tracking, the nation's largest live tracking program with over 28,000 vehicles. So really just great story. Obviously, the interns don't have to come work over here at DCAS, but we want them working in city government or getting great private sector jobs. And this just happened to be, you know, 7 years from this event. He's now our newest full-time employee. So we're really excited about that. The last thing I want to mention is we do have some events. Car-Free Earth Day is on April 22nd, sponsored by the City Department of Transportation, and we encourage all of you to participate in that, and you can learn more. And Eric Richardson, who's on this call, can help you do that. And as importantly, to come to our fleet show on May 11th. Always a lot of fun. I think it's going to be bigger than ever. We're hoping to make some interesting announcements. We're going to have the participation of London and Montreal, who we have partnerships with. And we're going to have Barry Shearman, who's the longest serving MP in the UK, is going to be participating, as well as our partners in London. Hope to have some pretty senior people from our government, and hope that all of you will be there. With that, just want to again say it's great to be here with you. We are incredibly supportive, always looking, you know, we always try and figure out ways to be helpful, but if you have ideas about how we can assist you in practical ways, let us know. With that, I give it back to Gav. Thank you.
Excellent, Keith. And we definitely had some seniors and alumni apply for that automotive service worker examination that was out some time ago. So thank you for those opportunities, and great to see Javier at Alfred Smith's Career Day. And as a reminder to everyone, you know, these commission meetings are not the only way for you to get involved in the work that DOE does. We have tons of career days and guest speaker opportunities and info sessions. So if you want to attend any of these things, you want to highlight your career, your industry, your organization, please just connect with me. All right, next we are going to turn it over to Daniel Cardoza. Go for it, Danny.
All right, thanks, Gab, and thanks, Keith. In a little while, I'm going to show you all well, Gab's going to help me. We're going to show you 2 videos. So really today I got a nice story to tell everybody about, and to really highlight the important work that you're doing in the CTE schools. So for those that don't know me, I'm Daniel Cardoza. I'm the Vice President and Chief Maintenance Officer for MTA in New York City Transit, Department of Buses, and MTA Bus Company. And today I'm going to briefly share the great experience that Thomas Edison High School students and the MTA staff had at the recent Career Discovery Week event at our Zuriga Avenue facility in the Bronx. First, I want to thank the Partnership for New York City and the New York City Department of Education for inviting us to be part of your Career Discovery Week. This was the first one for us at Bus Maintenance. Also, a thanks for the great assistance provided by Grant Associates with the coordination and the leadership from Thomas Edison High School. And a shout out to Thomas Edison High School leadership. I mean, you're doing a fantastic job. Those students were just wonderful. So we were super excited to have the students visit one of our locations and that we could teach them all the career opportunities that the MTA has to offer. Just as a reminder, we are the largest bus agency in North America. We carry more riders than the combined rail and bus ridership of any transit agency in the United States. Pre-pandemic, we carried an average of 2 million riders every weekday. That's on our buses. We have about 6,000 buses and we do 55,000 daily trips and revenue service. Department of Buses employs approximately 18,000 people working at around 35 locations. So students had the opportunity to take a ride in one of our all-electric buses. The MTA is committed to 100% zero emissions fleet by 2040. So we're doing our part to save the planet. We currently operate 15 electric buses with 65 more scheduled to be delivered next year. And we're ordering 470 more buses, and which we're working on that procurement now. So Gav, maybe we could show some of the videos and then I could explain what we did.
Yes, absolutely. So give me a few seconds, folks, as I pull up this video for Danny here. This is
right.
So this video that I'm pulling up now is from that Edison made. The kids at Edison made this. And are you all able to see the screen?
Yes.
Yes. All right. Let me hold on 1 second. Let me make sure the sound is on. Okay. And here we go. Danny, were you teaching the kids to dance there? I saw a sidestepping going on.
Yeah. Yes. So before we show the other video, I just want to talk about what we did, right? So we had the opportunity to actually send a bus to the school, and we picked up the students at the school with our bus. And why that was important to me is one of the things that we were asked to do was, hey, can you go beyond, just bus maintenance and even beyond being a bus operator? And here at the MTA, we have people employed that work in IT. We have people employed that are architects. You name it, we have it. And the interesting thing is we were able to have that conversation with the students. But their day started off with a bus operator being able to talk to them about what they do on a daily basis. And I sent 2 other staff members over. Once they got to our location, we brought them down into our training bays where you did see a student start an engine. And we were able to show them different mock-ups we use for maintenance training. We took the students through our Zuriga CMF, which is our overhaul facility, and they got to talk to people on the work floor. We were able to show them different buses that were in the process of being overhauled. We also took them over, you saw it in the video, but that was an old antique bus that actually has a crank start. And some of our bus mechanics actually went over and cranked that engine for them and started it up. Really was a pretty cool thing for them to see. They rode on an electric bus. We showed them some of the monitoring software that we use to look at the batteries when the batteries are in work. They went in to see where the bus operators get trained. So you saw that on the video. We have our bus simulators, and for the students, it was just like they jumped into a video game. Really awesome. And the other great thing we did was we had them walk around and they did an office tour where they had the opportunity to talk to all the supporting people. And I'm sure Keith would also explain that besides having our people on the floor to actually do the work, there is so much support staff in the background. And some of those people are doing analytical work and they work with numbers or they pay bills. So the students got an opportunity to see that and to talk to several folks on staff. Can we show the other video, Gab?
Yep, absolutely. Just give me a few seconds, folks, as I pull up this news report.
See, Gab, you didn't have your assistant, but I got you.
Participating in Career Discovery Week, and today students from a Queens high school toured the Zuriga bus terminal here in our borough to learn about the MTA and the many careers they have to offer. News 12's Johnny Caldwell has more on the importance of today's tour from Castle Hill.
The goal of Career Discovery Week is to get students out of the classrooms and into the real world to learn about future job opportunities in a number of industries. Well, today, students from Thomas Edison CTE High School got to do just that here at the facility where bus operators across the city learn everything they need to know about the job.
CTE schools are a great path for us to take students right out of school, teach them the trade, and give them a career here.
Students started their day being picked up from their school on what else but a city bus. They toured the facility, learning about not only jobs, but the basics of operating a bus. They learned about the different types of buses the MTA has, like electric and diesel. They even got to hop on a vintage city bus from the early 1900s. One 10th grader says he's looking forward to starting his career with the MTA after graduation.
When you're already in a CTE high school, you already get opportunities to work hands-on and especially in the things that you do and sign up for. But it's important being on the work job and the work site because you actually get hands-on the actual experience on what it is after high school and in real life.
Career Discovery Week is put on by the nonprofit Partnership for New York City. Now, this is the MTA's first year participating, and staff say they're looking forward to continuing partnering with the nonprofit as they bring in more students for their next career week. In Castle Hill, Johnny Caldwell, News 12.
So, you know, I had mentioned to Gab, I think I did Gab anyway, earlier, that I believe that my staff actually had a better time than the students even had, and the students had a great time. So we actually look forward to doing more of this. I'm going to go visit Thomas Edison High School. You know, I have an invite, and I'm definitely going to take them up on the offer. So we're hoping that Transit Tech is going to get the automotive class over to see us. And, you know, I welcome these visits. You'd be surprised. The students really enjoy just having these conversations with us, talking about things like health benefits and things like pensions. I mean, it's amazing that they're interested in this sort of a thing. And, you know, we certainly want to continue our partnership with Department of Education. we hope to figure out how to get these students in here for some, a lifelong career. So, I thank everybody for your hard work on these CTE programs, and it's just so important to keep this going.
Tremendous work. Thank you, Danny. I appreciate you both. Any questions, comments for Danny or Keith before we move on?
Gav, can Daniel share his contact information?
Yes.
All right, great. All right, unless there are any other questions, we are going to move on. Next, it is my absolute privilege to feature one of our newer commission members. It is none other than Earl Mitchell. He's the Regional Technical Placement Specialist for the Ford Motor Company. In this position, he is responsible for creating the pipeline for new technicians coming into the industry, focusing on electric vehicles. New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut are the states he's responsible for, and he engages many automotive technical high schools and colleges. So that means that every one of our CTE automotive programs in this call, you need to be connected to him. His engagement with Ford company dealerships also puts him at a position at ground zero where opportunities for technicians are being created. He feels this is an exciting time for the automotive industry, and those that enter it will benefit from the technology of tomorrow. So we are going to hear from none other than Earl Mitchell himself. Go for it, Earl.
All right, Gab, thank you so much for giving me this opportunity. Hopefully everyone can hear me clearly. Forgive my background. I was actually trying to make it back to an office, but unfortunately got caught in traffic. So this is my background for the day.
Listen, that is the most appropriate background you can have for this meeting. So you're good.
Gotcha. Well, again, it's a pleasure to be here. And at the end of the day, I'm excited about this opportunity to work with Ford, but to also be involved with New York City. I've actually had a couple of conversations with one of the deputy mayors, and I, constantly interact with many of the mayors, deputy mayors, and folks who help move citizens around, if you will, throughout New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Again, as we shared, my title is a regional technical placement specialist, and literally what I do is assist with creating the pipeline for all the electronic vehicles for the Ford Motor Company between New York, New Jersey, and Connecticut. Now, what does that actually mean? Well, it actually means I'm engaging a lot of the high schools and some of the colleges that have automotive programs. Specifically at the high school level, I deal with creating what are called ACE programs. The ACE program, which is the letters ACE, Automotive Continuing Exploration Programs, give high school students the opportunity to literally engage in the automotive process at the Ford Motor Company. And what it does is give them the opportunity to actually work on cars. We try to make sure that the schools have vehicles. I think there was someone who said a little earlier that there were some vehicles. I do have some schools who would love to utilize some of the vehicles that may be available to them. But this particular ACE program really gives students this immersion, if you will, in terms of what's taking place right now. It's a very exciting time for the young folks. One of the things that I find to be interesting is that with regards to CTE, within the ACE program, Ford has a curriculum that comes with the ACE program, and it literally fits within the curriculum of what CTE has. I have several schools who do interact with CTE, of course, but they are able to incorporate the curriculum from the Ford Motor Company. And this is great because it takes the students from dealing with the combustible motors that we're currently using, but moving into this whole electric vehicle space as well. And this is very important because ultimately what Ford is looking to do is to give a certain amount of experience and credentials to students before they come up out of the high schools, or once they're able to make it to, let's say, an automotive program from a collegiate perspective, they're able to continuously gain certifications. The fact that the students gain these certifications between the high school and if they have the opportunity to go to school, go to college, I should say, it puts them in a position to become a master technician a lot sooner. So of course, the theoretical piece in terms of what CTE as well as the ACE program, and then what we have what's called the ASSET program or Ford FACT program, which is at UTI. it really puts the students in a position of power in terms of earning ability based upon the knowledge that they're able to acquire, let's say within roughly a 6-year period. So for instance, if you take a student who starts the ACE program as a sophomore, he'll end up having 2 years engaging the Ford ACE program. If he has the opportunity or she takes the opportunity to go to college, let's say at Rockland Community College, where we have an asset program, they will there go through 2 years of training, but then on top of that, they have the opportunity to shadow and to earn as they work. So this again, gives them not just the practical experience, but they're also gaining the certifications that will last with them for a lifetime as long as they work for the Ford Motor Company. So right now, engaging New York City is really exciting. Recognizing what the mayor has said in terms of looking to have, I think the number might have been 30,000 individuals in terms of the workforce up and running, I want to say by 2030. The Ford Motor Company definitely wants to be a part of that and continue to engage the high schools as well as the automotive high schools and the automotive colleges, so that we can get as many students plugged into this wonderful opportunity. There are a few things I'd like to share in terms of numbers that are very dire, unfortunately, for the industry as a whole. The average age of a technician throughout the country is 55. And every day, 10,000 baby boomers are actually retiring. So right now, the auto industry is really taking a huge hit in terms of the knowledge base that is leaving right now. And that knowledge base needs to be fulfilled, of course, or should I say replenished. And, Ford is definitely looking to do that and wants to interact with as many of the CTE schools and schools that have automotive programs as possible. In terms of helping to get individuals up and running with work and making sure that there's a definitive partnership that Ford can have with the city of New York or the state of New York moving forward. So as a friend of mine used to say, that's my story and I'm sticking to it. If there are any questions, I would love to answer any of them for you. But for the most part, I think I've covered, what my particular space, occupies in terms of what I'm able to do with and for the Ford Motor Company. And I'm open to engaging everyone who is on this particular call. I need to, interact with you, get to know you, and figure out how we can definitively partner with you. So thank you for the time to speak.
Thank you, Earl. Any questions, comments for Earl? And if you are teachers, work-based learning coordinators, CTE teachers, any comments, questions? What I'm going to do after this meeting is I'm going to make sure that I connect you, Earl, to each of our CTE automotive transportation high school programs so that you can collaborate with them directly. So thank you so much for your time. All right, so moving on to our next presenter, we are going to be hearing from Kenneth Guarnier, who is from the Federal Bureau of Investigations. And if you're wondering, why do we have the feds in the meeting? It's not because of that illegal thing I did. It's actually because he is the automotive service program manager for the FBI. And I know a lot of you may be thinking, wait a second, what is the connection between automotive and FBI? Remember, just about every agency we work with, there is a connection there with fleet, with automotive. So this would open up your eyes to some more opportunities that you can explore with your young people. So whenever you're ready, Kenny, please feel free to unmute and go for it.
I just want to thank you for the opportunity today to speak with everybody, and just give a little background on myself. I also want to thank all the teachers out there. I really appreciate what you do to bring our young people and engage with them into our industry. I myself began my professional career as a technology education teacher out on Long Island, and had transitioned into a new career path a few years back. I became a technician with the FBI, and it was a very big surprise to me to hear that the FBI had mechanics and the ample other opportunities that exist. I always heard the FBI. I thought it was just all agents, and apparently that's a truth that a lot of other people hear. But I'm here today because we have a comparatively very small program to some of the other presenters. Across the country, we have about 180 mechanics, and it is the toughest program for the FBI to to fill. We do have a pretty intense background investigation and some other requirements that you must meet for employment. As such, what we would like to do is to be able to engage with your students and kind of talk about employment with us. My staff in New York, we are located in the Bronx, and we have 10 technicians, and we have not been fully staffed at 10 in about 4 years. And it's due to our folks coming in, getting their feet wet with the FBI, seeing the other opportunities that they have. They still love working in the automotive industry, but they do see other opportunities and they move on. I do have 2 members of my team who are moving on to one of our surveillance programs at the end of next week. And we do have some vacancies here in New York. Across the country, we have 56 field offices, and each field office does have between 2 to 10 technicians. New York and LA are the 2 largest offices, and we are short-staffed at both. So if you have students who are looking to have different opportunities in their lives, that is another possibility. Hawaii field office, they have 1 technician. It is constantly becoming a position that they need to fill if anyone has students who like the beaches and the warm weather. Please bear with me. I do not have my notes with me today. I had to stay home with one of my children.
So Kenny, can you actually transport us to Hawaii and do the training there? Is that a thing if we don't already have background in automotive?
So my national fleet maintenance program manager, he's based out in San Diego. I've been trying to get the office to either hold a training here in New York, or I always suggested when I was still a technician, Hawaii myself, and it always came back to budgetary restrictions. So they don't want to fly us cross country and then fly us across an ocean to get a little automotive training. But while we're talking about training, the FBI does partner with the big 3, GM, Ford, and Chrysler, where we do travel around the country on in-service trainings to attend at the Ford training centers, the Chrysler training centers, for our technicians to become up to speed in current industry trends and current repair trends in the industry. I'm sure everyone's aware the electric initiative provided by the White House. And in my field office, we are anticipating to see our first electric vehicle by the end of fiscal year 24, early fiscal year 25. Our purchasing for this current fiscal year of 23 is already done, and we are working on charging infrastructure within our facilities. And most of our vehicles are take home, so we're addressing issues with our operators and charging at their residences. For me, it's a big transition for my staff. We have 1 tech who's got some training, so to hear that the EV world is hitting it in the CTE high schools is it's welcoming to know that the folks who are coming up in the industry are getting this training now and seeing it first before they do get out into the field and have to get some retraining. If anyone does have career days, I have spoke with my recruiting offices, and we would like to come out if we can, to speak with your students, set up a table, hand out some literature about being hired at the FBI. All that information is available at fbijobs.gov, which discusses any disqualifiers for employment with the FBI and the federal government.
All right, good info, Kenny. And can you tell us, are there any common barriers that you realize that candidates encounter when they're trying to get a position in FBI?
The 2 biggest ones, not at the high school level that we see, is any felonies or an automatic disqualifier for employment with the FBI. And we do have a very stringent drug policy, which has changed a little bit when it comes to marijuana, but anything else, it's a big no. Automatic disqualifiers, and it's about 10 years of clean history for drug use for anything outside of marijuana. Those are the 2 biggest things where I'm finding in the years I've been here trying to hire staff, that disqualifies somebody. And a lot of people think that they can lie about it. We do a polygraph for every
All right, I think we
and
may have. Oh, Kenny, we lost you for a few seconds there. You mentioned that you do the polygraph. Okay, I think your signal is bad. All right, Kenny, I'm going to get back to you, Kenny, if you have any additional points you wanted to share with the
hold on a
group.
second.
But yeah, your signal is kind of bad. But for our attendees, so when it comes to the FBI, very, very similar points we're hearing from our partners there. Just as we've heard from our various other city agency partners and other private sector employees that the drug test is a big, big deal. It's a big barrier for a lot of the entry-level candidates. So again, we'd like you to please continue to re-emphasize to your young people that drug use, and of course, when it comes to criminal activities, these are something that can pose as obstacles to get into some of these careers. So please try to reinforce these points to your young people in your lessons with them. All right, are there any questions, comments before we move on? All right, next we are going to hear from Peyton Sutton, and I'm glad to have her with us again. She was a part of our Construction and Sustainability Commission meeting that we had a few weeks ago, and because her work spreads the gamut of various sectors that we cover within CTE, I asked her to be a part of this commission as well. Excuse me for a moment as I try to let some more folks in. All right, so Peyton Sutton, she is a recent graduate from Temple University. After obtaining her Bachelor of Arts in Communication, she pursued a career in human resources. She currently holds the title of University Recruiter for the National Railroad Corporation, Amtrak, where she is responsible for attracting and recruiting early career talent. Concurrently, she is obtaining a Master's of Business Administration in Human Resources Management at the University of Maryland to expand her knowledge base and credibility. Peyton believes that younger generations are the future. She actively helps Generation Z with career and professional development goals through social media business Career Covered, providing tips and resources. With over 60,000 likes on her accounts, and I'm jealous of that because I don't think I have that many. She intends to become a reliable resource to aspiring Gen Z professionals, no matter their chosen career field. So for those of you that have been picking on Generation Z folks, Peyton is here to set them straight and make sure that they are career ready and connected to some valuable opportunities. So whenever you're ready, Peyton, feel free to unmute and speak to our audience.
Thank you, Gab. I really didn't know that you were going to give me that introduction. So I'm trying to stop laughing right now, but hi, everyone. My name is Peyton Sutton. I'm a university recruiter here at Amtrak, and I am just going to go ahead and jump right into everything that I have to share for you all today. Honestly, I can give a mouthful, but I'm gonna try to make everything concise. But if you do have questions, you need clarification after I am done presenting, I am more than happy to answer you all. All right. All right, so first I do want to start with our HR flyer that we have set typically for when we do partnerships or meetings with companies. So we do currently recruit in all of these areas that you see listed on this flyer for our college programs, and then also for full-time employee positions, whether they are completely in-person, hybrid, or remote. Our college programs target the internship and co-op opportunities. We also have an academic scholarship program. Following that, rotational and apprenticeship programs. Next, I did want to highlight the inclusive benefits that you will typically see on the corporate side. One of the main ones that students do kind of gravitate towards is the education reimbursement and also the royal privilege one. So if you are looking to introduce your students to Amtrak, those are two benefits that you can definitely tell them that we offer here, whether you're a full-time employee or an intern. Getting into the academic scholarship program, high school students and college students are eligible to apply for this program. The minimum qualifications are listed. They are also similar to the minimum qualifications that you will see when you apply to the internship and co-op program as well. Typically, the scholarship program launches at the end of every year in about November, and then it goes to January 31st of the following year. Once January 31st hits, we stop accepting applications because we read all of the recipients' applications and then hope to disperse the awards by at least February or March. So if you would like more information, I will definitely include that link in the chat, but you can also check out our website, which provides an actual webpage for the entire academic scholarship program. Now, next, the internship and co-op program. This is specifically for students who are currently in school. And when I talk about in school, I do mean college, so they can be an undergrad or graduate degree student. They must actively be enrolled whenever they apply to our program. They also must be at a sophomore status and then also have a minimum 2.8 cum GPA. And my team specifically focuses on recruiting for the two sectors here at Amtrak, that is operations and also the corporate side. So here are some common engineering intern positions that you will find whether we're recruiting for spring, summer, or fall. These locations do vary, but these are the ones that I pulled for the summer positions that we have now. So we have a ton of engineering internships, civil engineering, industrial, rolling stock, even systems engineering, system track, track engineering, structural, and then also engineering track as well. The great thing about these specific teams is that they do recruit more than one intern at a time. And that, of course, gives us leverage to bring in more candidates to get them interviewed and provide them with opportunities. Typically, you see a lot of employers only hire one intern at a time. So if you do have any students in the CTE program, like within high schools that want to go straight into the workforce, I have implemented our 4 agreement departments. So one is the mechanical department. The full-time positions include carbon journeyman, machinist, sheet metal worker, electrician. I have also provided the hourly pay rates as well. Next, we have the IMCS department. We have trackmen, linemen, communication and signal helpers, B&B mechanics, power directors, electricians. Again, the list pretty much goes on. Next, we have our onboarding services and customer service department. This is more so what you will see on the forefront in a station, where you often see customer service reps, our red cabin baggage men as well, auto train representatives. But lastly, transportation. So we have a lot of passenger engineer opportunities available, also assistant conductors and passenger conductor trainees. These positions are really great for, again, students who are graduating from high school who want to go straight into the workforce within engineering. Here at Amtrak, you do have the opportunity to train in Delaware. So if they don't have as much vocational or training experience, they definitely have the time to do that if they are opted in to start this program as well. And then here are also some of the benefits that we have with the agreement positions. So I'm pretty sure everyone knows we have a great railroad retirement plan. They also get the 401k, rail pass privileges, educational assistance, and the remaining ones that you see here listed. So that is pretty much the end of my slide, but I do also want to note that my team specifically, we are very small, but we are very mighty. We love partnering with schools, especially high schools. That is our main target for the rest of this year and next year. So I will definitely leave my info in the chat for anyone to reach out to me. I often go to high schools to conduct information sessions, talking about the opportunities that we have here at Amtrak. I also do a career readiness workshop to help students with their resume building, mock interview, phone screen interviews, and Yes, any questions?
I have a question for you, Peyton. We have a
Okay.
partnership with Metropolitan Transit Authority, and every few months or every couple of years or so, there is a notice of examination that comes out. So for example, we have some kids where they're studying automotive technology, automotive repair, automotive maintenance. They would have to wait until MTA has that particular window period open. And it's the same thing with DCAS as well. DCAS, they talked about earlier that their automotive service worker exam was open and it's a very short window. Is that, does Amtrak also operate on that type of job opening where only certain times of the year there's like a small window period to apply, or is it like an ongoing opportunity where our young people should just simply check the website for openings?
So I would say it's pretty much a little bit of both. We often post all of our open positions like rapidly, but I do know for specific transportation positions, they hire those engineers and passenger trainees like in waves, especially if they are going to take that class to train them before they actually start working on the trains and working on like the tracks. So it's just important to keep note of the career portal.
Okay, great. And we
Often.
do yes, and we do have some young people where, you know, maybe they did shop class for a few years and they decided, you know what, I want to do something more administrative. Does Amtrak have those type of opportunities for young people where they want to get into Amtrak, but they don't necessarily want to do something hands-on related to the rails?
Yes, yes. So there are all types of positions. This can stem from the agreement side or even the corporate side as well. Oftentimes, I do see a lot of employees or engineers who were actively working on the track. Then they decided to change their mind. They want to be more so like in office, do management positions. That's also available. Also, we have a manager trainee program that relates to the apprenticeship that was on the first flyer that I showed. That is specifically for students focused in transportation, mechanical, and then also engineering. You do have to have a college degree, but you will rotate within all of those departments over the span of 6 to 18 months. And then after that, you will be promoted to a manager position. So it is a win-win. You're still learning, you're still getting trained and mentored, but you're also considered a full-time employee because you'll have full-time employee benefits and you will have a salary.
All right, great. All right, so thank you, Peyton. Unless there are any other questions, concerns from any of our guests, we are going to be moving on. And Peyton, some folks are asking, can they have your contact info so you can feel free to respond to them. And I'm hoping that all of our CTE programs in attendance would really take advantage of these partnerships that we have. We have aviation students, we have transit technology students, automotive, maritime students. So there's a lot of different young people here and different concentrations. And I feel like there's so much overlap in the skill sets and so many transferable skills. So Amtrak is definitely an opportunity that your young people should tap into. Next, we are going to hear from Jeffrey Brault. He is the VP of Public Affairs, Ferries, and Transportation Division at Hornblower. Prior to joining Hornblower and New York City Ferry as a Public Affairs Manager in 2020, Jeff was Director of External Affairs at the Manhattan Chamber of Commerce. He holds a Juris Doctorate from Hofstra University School of Law and an MBA and Bachelor's from Widener University. Jeff volunteers as a mentor with the City Tutors, and he previously worked in a professional sports, beginning his career as a dedicated community engagement and public transit advocate. You know, Jeff, actually City Tutors reached out to me earlier, and now that I realize that you were a part of them, okay, I'm going to be a bit more open to working with them. So Jeff, Jeff is that handsome guy in the suit and tie that you all saw on the flyer that we created. And Jeff, I thank you so much for joining our commission. And I'm saddened that you weren't a part of this much longer because I've heard so many great things about you from Harbor School and some other folks I work with. So it's an absolute pleasure to have you. So please feel free to unmute and speak to our guests today.
Fantastic, thank you. I gotta send some money over to Mike and Aaron at the Harbor School for singing my good graces. I paid them off. So yeah, thank you for having me. I will stay off camera for my, hopefully it helps my connection. I'm off site at a career fair today, and also to save you all from seeing the broom closet that I'm kind of propped up in currently. So as mentioned, my name is Jeff Brault. I'm the Vice President of Public Affairs at City Experiences by Hornblower. I'm housed within our Ferries and Transportation Division. I'm based locally in New York City, so NYC Ferry is my predominant focus. My contact information is on my screen here. Hopefully you can all see it. That'll be up on the last slide as well, and I'm happy to share it in the chat later on. So like I said, NYC Ferry, just for those of you who aren't aware or haven't been on board yet, one, we have to change that. We'll get you on board soon. But NYC Ferry is a 5-borough ferry system, 7 days a week, year-round service, beginning around 6 a.m., 6:30 a.m., and running till about 10 or 10:30 p.m., depending on route, landing, and time of year. Last year, we implemented a changed fare structure. So tickets on board are now $4 per one-way ticket, or $27.50 for a 10-ticket pack. That really benefits frequent riders and commuters. We also implemented an expanded ferry discount program that allows eligible and approved riders, once they're approved, to access a $1.35 discounted NYC ferry tickets. Those are for senior citizens, people with disabilities, and Fairfares NYC participants. So at NYC Ferry, I oversee our community engagement team. We work with organizations, local leaders, schools, businesses, tenant associations, nonprofits, and just about any group or type of group you can think of across New York City, but especially schools, to help connect New Yorkers across the 5 boroughs with a convenient, reliable, and accessible commute on board NYC Ferry. But we also to ensure that local New Yorkers have access to the challenging, exciting, and interesting careers available in maritime at our 520 miles of waterfront in New York City, and specifically at Hornblower and NYC Ferry, whether that's on the marine operations and onboard side or on land within our engineering, health, safety, security, quality and environment, dispatch, or our office and administrative positions. So our outreach includes activities such as neighborhood canvassing, tabling at local events, especially career fairs, supporting local initiatives and events through sponsorships, presenting like I'm doing today to a variety of different types of groups, volunteering via our All Hands on Deck initiative, Captains in Kayaks, which gets our onboard crew on the water to see a different perspective, and then supporting local school groups with onboard ride-alongs, what we call career tours on board, as well as site visits to get a view of our home port. We also like to work with and partner with career programs across the city, so that if someone is graduating high school or if they are transitioning their careers or looking for something new, we can get information, job postings, requirements out to them and engage with them to bring them access to a career that's right in their own backyard, might just be a few blocks away, but they were previously unaware of with the number of positions that are available across the maritime sector, and especially with NYC Ferry. So with NYC Ferry, our workforce development and outreach, really for this group, I think the top line items are, first off, in-class career presentations by NYC Ferry crew. We bring out folks from across departments. So that can be myself, but that can also be captains, engineers, dispatch crew, people from our marketing, really trying to bring a diverse variety of folks out to local schools and career programs, and local folks that represent the diversity of communities that we serve as well. Onboard career tours, as I mentioned before, are next. An opportunity to come on board, get to experience the waterways, get to experience NYC Ferry, but also get to meet and observe onboard crews such as deckhands, senior deckhands, concession crews, and then captains as well, to get their take on their careers, see a little bit about what they do, understand a little bit about what they do, and hear from them directly how they got into the field, why they stay in the field, why they love it, and what students can do to find those jobs and get to those jobs themselves. Next up, as shown in the picture on the right side of the screen there, last week, we had the STEM from Dance cohort from Transit Tech visit our home port in the Brooklyn Navy Yard. So we also do behind the scenes career tours where small student groups can come out. We'll bring them out to see our dispatch operations, our marine operations, health, safety, security, quality, and environment. Once again, our engineering and maintenance teams, give them a tour of a working home port, a working waterfront, and then get them on board to see the vessels themselves. That particular group got an additional step within it. They also got to see a person overboard training that was occurring with our crew. So they got a little bit of something extra for them to view. And then finally, in-person tabling at local career fairs and career events. As you can see in the center picture there, that's our Director of Engineering, Davi Smith. He and I were at SUNY Maritime a few weeks ago for their career fair, talking about all the jobs available at NYC Ferry. So career opportunities with NYC Ferry, the important thing to know is we offer extensive on-the-job training to help New Yorkers access local maritime careers. Maritime experience, especially for entry-level positions, is not required. We recognize that not everybody knows how to swim. Not everybody grows up boating. I myself do not have maritime experience. What I always tell folks is if you see me at the helm of a vessel, run far and fast because something has gone horribly wrong and there's no one else to do it. But so the students that are coming out of local high schools, local colleges, local career programs, a lot of times they can think that, oh, because it's in maritime, I don't have boating experience. I don't know what that's like. I haven't been there. It's not required. Certain positions, you know, if you're going to apply to be a naval architect, if you want to apply to be a marine welder, obviously those specific ones have some certifications and requirements that are necessary. But for entry-level positions, what's made us really successful on the workforce side of things, and has helped a lot of folks find careers and stay with us long-term since the system launched in 2017, is our ability to offer on-the-job training for those folks who don't have that experience. And a majority of our current captains began with us as deckhands. So some of those came in having no experience. One woman who is one of my favorites, Liana Harrison from Bay Ridge, she was taking a photography class at the College of Staten Island, saw a photo of the ferries and heard that we were applying during the summertime. She became a deckhand. She fell in love with it. She's worked her way up through our career training programs and support programs and is now a captain on board. There are many stories like that across our operation and across our departments as well. So the careers that we do offer, as I mentioned, marine ops on board like deckhand, senior deckhand, and captain, land-based marine operations like dispatch, engineering and maintenance positions to prepare and maintain the fleet for safe and reliable operations. All the moving parts behind the scenes that you won't see as a rider, but help ensure that when your boat is supposed to be there, it shows up on time and you get to where you're going conveniently and safely. Our rider service and customer service positions, onboard concessions, and then our office-based admin positions across marketing, IT, software, compliance, community engagement, accounting, sort of the traditional office jobs that you would see. All of our careers are available at ferry.nyc/careers, and I'll include that link in the chat again later. Current career opportunities. We are currently hiring for a dispatcher. We are currently hiring deckhands for the busy summer season. Some of those will be seasonal deckhand positions. We do get folks who are in college and are looking for a fun summer job. We also have folks that are looking for a new career and are graduating high school. And so any of those that are looking for the seasonal positions, they can come on board. If they fall in love with it, they do well, they want to turn it into a career, we try to work with them as much as possible to do so. On the engineering maintenance side, hiring a port engineer, engineering project coordinator, marine diesel technician, fuel team member, marine electrician, shift supervisor, warehouse coordinator. On the customer side or rider side, we are currently hiring for a rider services agent and contact center agent. And then on the admin side, we have a couple positions. For those folks that are entry level and looking to get into a new industry, deckhand and fuel team members are some of our best and most accessible entry level positions that they would be looking at. So career development opportunities, as I mentioned, that photo there is Captain Bernard Menor. He began as a deckhand with us, trained up, and is now a local captain with us. So within that, as I mentioned, we offer continued training and education to help folks achieve hopefully their dreams within the industry. Hornblower University offers a number of different topics and experiences for folks. A Walk in My Shoes initiative, so if someone begins as a deckhand and they're interested in learning about marketing, they can shadow an individual for a day or two, get their perspective and learn more about their role. Career support programs, mentorship opportunities, a summer college program, and then intercompany career opportunities. So that if someone begins with us in New York City and life takes them to Florida or Puerto Rico or Pierce County in Washington or Martha's Vineyard, where we're going to be operating crew transfer vessels for Vineyard Wind 1, there are those transfer opportunities when the timing and experience is right for folks. So again, ferry.nyc/careers. I thank you all for having me. I really look forward. I hope we can connect and we can join your programs, your events, and give presentations, speak to as many of your students as possible. And once again, there's my contact information. I really appreciate the opportunity.
Yeah, this is marvelous information, Jeff. And I can say for myself that this has been eye-opening for me, because when I hear about New York City Ferry, I'm not thinking about these diverse opportunities there. I'm just thinking about maybe ship captain, deckhands. I didn't realize that you guys covered so many different sectors. And this is why, I know I'm preaching to the choir here, but this is why whenever we have our commissions, I try to invite so many different people from many different walks of life here, because you never know where there's overlap. Now, Jeff, I do have a question for you. Despite the fact that I was born in an island surrounded by lots of water, I don't know how to swim, and Lisa Futterman has this question as well. Do you have any sort of programs for folks that want to learn how to swim? Is that a thing?
So through our community engagement team, we actually have partnered with the Swim Strong Foundation, which offers swimming and water safety classes across New York City. So we do have that available, and we try to connect and work with them as much as possible through tabling at their events for careers in water safety, and then also for connecting our crew, local families, local students, and those folks who don't yet know how to swim with the resources to learn and to understand how to access our waterways safely in an environment that has a lot of different opportunities, as well as a lot of different operators and types of vessels.
All right, good to know. Good to know. This is great. Yeah, so Lisa and I are both appreciative of that information. Thank you so much, Jeff, and thanks again for always taking note of the career day outreach that I send out. I see that you always respond to them, and you and your team, you always tap into those events if you're available. So really, really appreciative of that.
Yeah, fantastic. Thanks so much for having me.
All right. So I don't think Jose Argueta is with us anymore because he had another event he had to go to. But just to let you all know, we also have a partnership with the Seafarers International Union. We featured them before in past commission meetings. So we do have the maritime sector is pretty well covered for those of you that want to get into that arena. So I'll be sure to send out resources from the Seafarers International Union after this meeting as well. On that note, it is time for announcements. Do we have anyone, whether from the school side, the industry side, do you have any announcements, any upcoming events, any relevant information you'd like to share? Just please raise your hand and you can unmute.
Hey, Gav, it's Debbie O'Connor from the MTA. I can't find the hand signal, so I apologize for not
Yeah, that's
raising my
fine.
hand first
That's
before
fine.
jumping in. So yeah, I would like to share with this group that the entry title for CTE high school seniors, the entry title at the MTA New York City Transit for CTE high school seniors who are studying automotive maintenance will open for filing on June 1. It's very late this year, but I'm going to ask you to do something similar that we did for the electrical installation students. If you can schedule an information session with myself and some of the examiners at the MTA, we can train the work-based learning coordinators and anyone else who's interested on how to file and how to get the students a fee waiver. Maybe let's plan that for the first week in June so that you have a couple of weeks to get the students filed for this opportunity before they check out. Okay.
All right, great.
Deborah, maybe
Yes.
we can mention that we're going to be at the New York City Auto Show.
Oh, yeah, we are. We're going to be at the, yes, thank you very much. Right. So
Yeah.
our New York City Transit Department of Buses is showcasing an electric bus from April 7th through April 16th at the New York Auto Show. There'll be recruiters there as well, you know, trying to market jobs for all of the 6 MTA agencies. So, you know, one of the things that you can be confident in is that your students will always be learning and trained on new technology, right? So, you know, we're there. We have hybrids, we have electric, we've got whatever else that's coming down the road. So that's one of the, I think, the pluses of the job. They're gaining real life interesting they'll have real life interesting, challenging work. They're trained on all different types of technology. They can stay forever. Our baby boomers, like everybody else's baby boomers, are retiring. I do believe that getting into the transit authority now is going to offer immense opportunities to young people who are trained and serious about their work. What else can I say, Dan?
No, I think you covered it, Deborah.
Okay.
What were the dates again? Folks are asking.
Oh, the auto show? The
auto show is the 6th to the
7th. Friday opens Friday, April 7th.
I have a slide on it.
Okay. And it closes on Sunday night, the 16th.
And certainly somebody from the Department of Buses will be there the whole time, as well as other some folks from other agencies.
Correct. Yes, we have the training supervisors from the Department of Buses will be with the bus every day, you know, to talk to the public about the mechanics in the bus and all of how it runs, how it operates. Yeah, so we're excited about that upcoming event as well. But the mechanical helper, Group B, which is an auto mechanic helper, is an excellent entry opportunity, for any senior who would like to work at the Transit Authority.
Yeah, we should definitely get that information, Gav, out to all the schools for the automotive students.
Yes.
It'll be an opportunity, like Deborah said, their opportunity to come in the door here, and then they could get promoted, after some time here on the job. But
Yep, we're on top of it. Thank you both. And I see you, Emma and Diane. I'm going to turn it over to you in a couple of minutes. I met Debbie close to 10 years ago, and I remember Debbie used to always talk about the retirement of the baby boomer generation. And I remember when I first heard that, and she kept saying it over and over and over. And I heard it so much that I stopped paying attention to it because I didn't really see how it impacted me. But I can say that in this role, there are so many job openings now. And in my outreach to the commission folks, I had so many emails bounce back to me because so many folks have retired, they've left New York City, they've transitioned to other things, and we're feeling that big wave of professionals moving out of the system. And everything that Debbie and Aleda Myers and other folks from MTA used to talk to us about in our labor market meetings, I'm seeing it happen firsthand and feeling it myself. So plenty of opportunities out there for our younger generation to fill these roles. Very happy to have Emma Sarnacki with us from SUNY Maritime. And why I really like SUNY Maritime is that they keep us in the loop with their engagement events. And I know that there was this great college event that they put on a couple of months ago or so. And all the teachers and all the kids that spoke to us were very happy to be a part of that. And very glad to have you with us, Emma. Please feel free to unmute and share whatever content you have with us.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for the introduction. I really appreciate it. And thank you all so much for those presentations earlier. I'm grateful to be able to just to briefly touch base with all of you. I'm about to drop into the chat my information and some plugs for some events we have coming up here. Like Gav said, that I work at SUNY Maritime College. I'm the STEM Outreach Coordinator and Waterfront Program Director here. And I get to do quite a bit of fun things in that role. And I think the most pertinent to this group, as we've heard earlier today from Jeff and others, there are so many incredible opportunities within the maritime industry, but many students don't necessarily think about the maritime industry as an opportunity for them at all, whether they have concerns about being near the water or it just isn't top of mind for them. So a presentation that we've developed here for educators like you and in your classrooms is a Pathways to the Maritime Industry presentation, which gives a really broad overview of what the heck the maritime industry even is, why somebody might want to get involved in it themselves, why it might be a viable career for them, and a very brief introduction into how they might do so, whether it's through a 4-year program at a college like SUNY Maritime, or starting out in the industry right away and getting that training on the job. Like I know Jeff was talking about Hornblower offering on the job training there. If that's something that you might be interested in bringing to your school, my email is right in that chat message there. Please reach out to me. I would love to arrange that at your convenience, wherever is convenient for you. The presentation can span anywhere from a half hour to an hour or so. But yeah, let's absolutely talk details about that if that's interesting to you. A couple of other plugs of events coming up. It's coming up just this Saturday, so it's a little last minute, but there are still some seats available. We are hosting a STEAM day here at SUNY Maritime this Saturday morning. There's a link there where you can send 6th to 11th graders to register for this event. SUNY Maritime faculty and staff and students will be running a really broad variety of stations here on campus. They'll be running the simulators, the full bridge simulators, There will be squid dissection. We'll be working with oysters on campus. It's going to be a great day. Lots and lots of fun. If you think you might have some students who'd be interested, again, 6th to 11th graders, that's on Saturday. And then a little bit further down the line, you've got some more heads up for this. We'll be hosting a Boogie Down to the Sound event, because you got to represent the Bronx up here at SUNY Maritime. And this is a community open house that really sort of displays all of the best that Maritime has to offer for our community. There will be opportunities to get out on power boats, on sailboats. There will be a shoreline cleanup. A wide variety of our community partners will be represented here to share more about what they do in partnership with us. And it's always a good party here at Maritime at Boogie Down to the Sound. So that's coming up on Saturday, July 15th, and there's a link there in the chat as well. But thank you all again so much for being here today. It's lovely to meet you all, and I hope to talk more about how we can work together.
Great, thank you, Emma. And I'll be sure to disseminate this information to everyone in our meeting. Thanks for sharing these events and opportunities with us. Diane, please feel free to unmute.
Hi, everyone. Gav, as always, your meetings are fantastic with a lot of information, greatly appreciated. And to those speakers and presenters that do provide this information. I'm Diane Gonzalez. I work for a nonprofit weatherization organization in New York City. We also collaborate with community-based organizations and schools to do initiatives. And we're having a Brooklyn Clean Energy Career Summit on April 18th. And I've taken some of the emails of folks here, and I'd like to invite some of the folks. We're looking for trainers, training organizations who are recruiting, and we're also looking for employers who are looking for and have hiring needs. And so thank you. With that said, you'll already probably receive some emails from me in your inbox already. Thank you, Gav.
All right. Thanks, Diane. Any other announcements?
If I may, Jan Kozlowski from Metro North Railroad.
Yes, go for it. Go ahead.
Okay, if I can share my screen
Oh,
here.
yes. Let me make you a co-host. Just give me 5 seconds.
I'm sorry.
Yeah, and go ahead.
Okay, we're Metro North Railroad, and everyone has all these neat toys out there that people think the students can work on. So let me share some of the toys that we have over here. We're looking for heavy equipment mechanics, primarily diesel mechanics, but people that are trained in hydraulics, electronics, computers, electricity, you name it. We're very interested in that. Here are some of the pieces of equipment that we have. We're very short on mechanics, so we'll start over here.
Yeah, you didn't share your screen yet. You have to click share screen at the bottom.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay, and that, and okay. Do you see piece up there?
No.
Yes. Yeah. We see it now. Yes.
A yellow machine. Okay, that one. And I'm wondering if I can pull these others up also at the same time. I'm just trying to see. Maybe I have to unshare and go like this one by one. You see a different one now?
No, it's still the same picture we're looking at. Oh, okay. Now it changed. It changed now. Now it's changing.
I see that. Now it's changing again.
Yes.
So as you can see, these are very strange looking machines. They're very labor intensive, mechanic intensive. Let's see if we can make another one here. Some are brand new, as you can see here, and rather small. Some are much older, as you can see this one over here, but extremely important. Others look like they're big and long and strange looking, like this one that opens up, looks like a huge spider. And speaking of spiders, I should have another one here, which I don't know, it's hiding on me here. So anyway, the bottom line is that we have, here we go, all sorts of different types of equipment. We're really desperate for mechanics here on the railroad. If everyone is interested in learning about this stuff, we have an apprentice program that's 1 year in our shop, maintenance shop, where we repair this type of equipment. And then we give them the opportunity to get their own mechanics truck with a crane on the back and tools and parts and so forth. And they go out and they spend the days out there in the field on a railroad, anywhere between New Haven, Connecticut and Port Jervis, New York, which is on the Pennsylvania border, and down to New York City. and whatever goes down, they get first dibs to try and fix it, figure it out and fix it. We have a lot of foremen who come out there and help them and guide them through the repairs. We're here to help train these people, but the idea is that to eventually make them self-sufficient so they can fix anything that's out there. If once they pass through this type of training, they'll be qualified to fix anything, anywhere, for anyone. Almost, maybe not the maritime stuff, but they'll be quite well trained. So what we're looking for is young men and women who are enthusiastic about learning the repair of strange looking heavy equipment in a railroad environment, and we're willing to train them once they get here.
All right, great. Some folks are asking if they can contact you because your Zoom shows up as 115572. I don't know if that's your date of birth.
No, that's my employee number. So let me get into the chat thing here. We primarily use Teams over here, so I got to figure out how to use Zoom to put in a maybe type message here. I can type my email address, and if anyone wants to get here, this is my name.
Yep.
And I'm at Metro North Railroad, and we're looking forward to anyone that's interested with working with us.
So, Janik, does a person have to be willing to relocate to Connecticut or some upstate place? Because that's been a concern for some of our schools, whether or not the location works out. So are there opportunities in the 5 boroughs, or do you have to live in a certain geographic region?
Well, it's much more convenient for the people if they live in our service territory area. Probably easiest for those that live in the Bronx.
Okay.
Because if you're in the Bronx, then we of course service the Bronx, and we have several bases in the Bronx from which we maintain equipment, both in Grand Central Terminal itself, which is right here in Manhattan. We have Mott Haven, which is just it's in the Bronx. It's actually parallel to Manhattan, and it's on 138th Street, the Bronx / Manhattan. So there's another base right there. The training area is in North White Plains, New York, which is a short hop, skip, and drive jump from Manhattan, and of course from the Bronx is just a few minutes up the road from the Bronx.
Right. All right. Great.
That's the main training area right there.
All right. Great. Good info, Janik. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And one of our teachers is asking, how does a student apply for the apprenticeship program that you just mentioned?
Well, it's not really this as an apprenticeship program. They simply apply for a job here as a machine. It's called a machinist. The reason why we call them mechanics machinists is because they're represented by the International Association of Machinists. That's the union, and they belong to the union when they come here. But the machinists insisted that all of their personnel be called machinists. So our mechanics are called machinists. But in the job description on the MTA, just go to the MTA website, look under Metro North Railroad. It'll be listed maintenance of way machinist, and then in parentheses it'll say mechanic, and that's us.
Got it. All right, Beskar, we'll be sure to post that link. Janik, if you do have the link, you can type it in the chat box. If not, I will be sure to send out meeting notes to all of our attendees so that we have all of these things in our possession. And thank you, Debbie.
I will look for the link and share it. Yes.
Great. Thank you. All right, folks, I know that time is running out, and I know you all want to move on with your personal life. Let me just share my screen one more time. I have a couple of quick announcements. Are you able to see my screen?
Yes.
Yes, great. All right, please fill out the attendance and survey. I really need to have this info proof that you all are attending these events. And if you are from Department of Education, remember these meetings count towards your CTLE hours. If you have a Trans-A or initial license, you don't have to worry about that. Only if you have a professional teacher certification and you're trying to accumulate your CTLE hours, just shoot me an email if you need that. The New York International Auto Show, we talked about that a little bit earlier. That's happening during the time when our schools have spring break, April 7th to 16th. You can simply visit autoshowny.com to learn more about that. It's going to be at the Javits Center as usual. Some of you have been asking, are we purchasing tickets? Unfortunately, we're not doing that this year. Sorry for any convenience caused with that. Long story, but we can talk about that offline. But if you do want to have your students, and also, for the different partners and guests in the room, if you want to check out some of the latest innovative cars that are on the market, feel free to head on over there. I'm going to be there myself. Eric Richardson, he's going to be speaking on April 6th. So feel free to check him out as well. Our Engineering and Architecture Commission, as well as many other events, are coming up on April 20th. All right, so I'm still trying to figure out how I'm going to do that one, because I have committed to doing some career days that day as well. But for anybody interested in anything dealing with architecture, design, STEM, civil engineering, mechanical engineering, drone technology, that is a commission that I run, so that you're more than welcome to join that if you wish. Transit Tech, which is one of the members of our commission, they're located East New York. They are overseen by my buddy, Principal Marlon Bynum, and his crew over there. They're having their career day April 20th, and I'm going to send you the registration links if you want to be a part of that. And you don't necessarily have to be somebody who is from the transit industry. Whenever we're doing our career days, we're looking for guests and professionals from all manner of different sectors. So please feel free to sign up for that career day happening. On that same day, we have George Westinghouse CT High School, which is located at 105 Tech Street, Tech Place, which is downtown Brooklyn, right across the street from City Tech. They're doing their own career day as well. I'm going to be a part of that before the commission meeting starts at 3 p.m. that day. And I know you've been getting my emails about this. We are looking for CTE automotive teachers, and we are facing the shortage of skilled trades workers ourselves. So if you have anybody where maybe they are already did a career somewhere else, or they're injured, or they're looking to transition into the classroom and they want to do something a little bit that requires a little bit of less heavy lifting, we do have opportunities in our CTE schools for automotive teachers. You don't need to have a bachelor's degree. Strangely, to be a substitute teacher, you need the 4-year degree, but to be a CTE teacher, you don't necessarily need that. So we do have certification pathways for any professionals where if you have either a 2-year degree and 2 years of industry experience, or you have a high school diploma and 4 years of industry experience in automotive, we can assist you in getting your certification. So send any resumes my way, and I'll send out a general job description about that and the certification instructions as well. For any schools that are part of this call, remember, please utilize me as much as you can. If you have any guest speaker series, career days, you're looking for industry involvement, there should be no schools a part of this commission that's complaining that you don't have partnerships. If anything, we have too many partnerships, all right? That should be the complaint. But if for whatever reason you're looking for more partnerships and you need these professionals and companies to participate in your competitions and your student engagement activities, just send those acts my way and I will make the connections for you. And the flip side, for all of the post-secondary folks on this call, you're from a trade school, you're from a college, or you're from industry, and you're looking for ways to connect to our schools, there are many easily applicable opportunities where you can simply visit our classrooms, do info sessions, talk about your career, and take our kids as your interns, or use our graduating classes as your candidate pool for entry-level opportunities. So lots of easy ways for you to collaborate with our system. So if you have any questions about any of these things, please let me know. I do want to give a shout out, in case I didn't do it earlier, to Gordon Grange, who has been such a very great, productive member of this commission, because it is through him we gained a connection with FBI, and it's through him we've gained a connection to a bunch of different partners that we've worked with over the years. And he's a guy where he's always on the ground running and trying to make sure that opportunities for our kids are accessible. So thank you, Gordon, and thank you to everybody else on this call as well for everything that you do. I'm going to be sure to send out the meeting notes and these slides and all the information you need within the next few hours. I try not to leave the office unless I send out meeting notes. And if you have any other questions, concerns, criticisms, and most importantly, compliments, please send them my way. And all of our recordings are available on YouTube. All you have to do is just Google my name. It should come up on YouTube. So nothing complicated. All of these meetings are accessible to you all. And if you are a CTE program going up for program approval or reapproval with the state. All of our resources are readily accessible on our public Google Drive. If you don't know what that is, if you don't know what I'm talking about, send your inquiries my way and I will get you connected to the agendas and attendance lists and slides and everything else that you need. All right, so thank you all for another wonderful meeting, and we'll be in touch, and nobody else can do what you do. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks, Gav.